All right, so we've created a lot of pens in Codepen. We've done a lot of different things to code. You have a basic understanding of HTML5 and CSS3 and how they interact with each other. But Codepen's been doing a lot of work for you in the background. A website just doesn't appear. We don't just type in some HTML code and all of a sudden it's pretty on the side. Instead, we have to actually tell the computer, one, what type of file are we working with, and two, what are we coding in? And then we have to give it a base structure. We have to say, like, this is my page, here's where it starts, here's where it ends, here's the information that the user needs but doesn't need to see, all of those kinds of things. Because we're coding in different languages, and right now when we open up a pen, we've got a box for HTML and a box for CSS. Well, in the real coding world, there's no boxes for you to type into. Instead, there's files. So I want to show you kind of how these files have been created and what they're adding to it. So what we're going to do real quick is on CodePen, I just want you to create a new pen. This pen is just for us to check out what this looks like inside of here. And we're just going to go ahead and title this Inspecting a Web Page. Okay, so I'm just going to give it a title there. And I'm just going to type in Hello World. And that's going to pop up over here on the right when it refreshes. I'm going to go ahead and we're just going to make it very simple. I'm going to make this an H1, a heading 1 tag, and close that at the end. And then I'm going to go to my CSS and just make the H1 be a different color. So I'm going to go color of red. That's it. Nothing special. I just want to show you that we have these features, and right now we're typing into these boxes, but again, Codepen's doing a lot of work for us. So I'm going to save this. And what I want to show you is that there's actually pieces to this that exist. They exist in the background. One of those things is like the whole page itself. Like, how does this page even get created? How does it exist over here? Well, there's a whole thing called a body of a page. The body of a page is where you get to explain, like, here's everything the person needs to see. So when someone visits my website, they're seeing what I want them to. And I want to show this to you because you actually can control the body even though you didn't have a body tag. Like, we don't have a body tag up here in the HTML. We didn't type one in, but it exists because Codepen's made it in the background. And I want to show this to you. If we go to the CSS here and we hit enter, we're going to call upon the body. Just like we did with the H1, we're just going to type in body because it's actually a tag that's back there that you don't even know is there. And we're going to open it up and we're going to change the background color of this page. I'm going to change the background color to yellow. And when I do that, you're going to see that background color change. Now, we don't have a body tag. We didn't make one up here, but it still exists because Codepen's doing it for you. And I want to show this to you. I want you to save this Codepen. And this is actually called a frame over here. We're seeing different frames that is separating this page out. And so this frame is actually going to be running the code that we're seeing over here, which is why it's coming over on the right. And we're going to go over to the right over here. We're going to right click, and instead of view page source, which will show us the source for everything on this page, we're going to view the frame source to show just the information for this yellow frame. And so I'm going to hit view frame source, and that's going to open up a new tab. Now, we've created a couple of things, and I want to show them to you, but there is more here than what we've created because, again, Codepen is creating stuff in the background. So what I want to show you first is that we've got a body tag. It's right here on line 29 for me. I've got a body tag. It's got my H1 of Hello World, and it's closing it. I'm going to go and zoom in here so you can see. And it's then got these scripts in here. I didn't create those scripts, but Codepen obviously did to help me out. And then it closes the body. Now, we've got our H1. It looks great, all those kinds of things. And it's inside the body because that's what our user gets to see. But notice the red for the H1 isn't in the body, and neither is the yellow, because the body tag does exist, but it's what we want the user to see and what the content is on the page. It's not the stylization. So if I scroll up here, you're going to see that I have a style here. that exists, and it's an inline pen style sheet. That's a little bit, special. But look, there's my CSS, my H1 color of red on line 19. And that is not in the body. If I zoom out here, that's actually sitting, if I go all the way up here, all of that is sitting inside what's called a head tag, because the head contains all of the information that's needed to make the page run correctly and make it look correct, but the body is what actually appears on the page. Because if we go back to this website here, hello world is what's appearing on the page, right? Which is why it sits inside the body tag. But the H1 color red is just something for the page to understand and then display the color red on this text. So I want you to think about like when you walk around, okay? You're walking around, or even moving your body to wave your hand, okay? So you're gonna wave your hand, all right? Your body doesn't just do it, right? It doesn't just bring up your hand and start waving. Your brain or your head tells your body what to do. So I want you to think about like the head of the page telling the body what to do. It's telling the body to be red whenever it sees an H1, just like you tell your body to raise your hand and then start shaking it. Those are all things that you're doing. Now, what's manifesting for everyone else to see is that my hand is actually shaking. But you're not seeing me tell my hand to shake, right? That's up in my head. So you need to think about like the head of a page telling the computer what it needs to look like, but the body being what they actually see. Okay? So this is really important. We've got a doc type up here at the top that tells the computer, hey, we're going to make an HTML file. You can then see that an HTML tag gets opened and it doesn't get closed till the end because everything gets contained inside of there. And then we've split into two sections, a head and a body. Now, again, none of those tags exist on this page. We can't see them, but we do know they're there because the body tag we just adjusted. Okay, so it's very important to note that there's tags that actually set up the structure of your HTML page, and then you get to pull from there. So we're going to go ahead and transfer our notes website to an actual page on our computer, a file rather than using Codepen, and we're going to stop having Codepen do all that work for us.